So, as Tony said, this is the first one of a series of workshops we're running this year. And today's one is all about getting around using your phone. So just hands up, who uses maps on their phone already? So a few of you. No? Okay. Do you use any other apps like bus times or any other things to see where you are? Yeah? Again? Okay. So we're going to cover those sort of things. How can you use your phone to help you get around? And there's not going to be a lot of what I call chalk and talk. And I'm going to talk for a little while about an app, and then you're going to try and use that app. So the idea is that you actually get to use your phone to do the exercises. And we've got about 6 apps to talk about. So those ones we're going to cover. Google Maps, that's probably the best known one when it comes to mapping on the phone. We'll look briefly at these other ones, CityMapper, TfL. TfL Go is really good for using tube trains and buses in London. Bus times is an alternative to that, which has been around for quite a while. And for me personally, I think I prefer TfL Go now. It's a little bit easier to use. And for some reason, bus times always inundates me with adverts, which I don't like. Uber, anyone here use Uber? Again, a few people. Yeah, they got you, yeah. So look at Uber. And then an unusual one, some people may not know about, what 3 words, and then we'll finish with one more thing. So, Google Maps. So Google Maps is available on all phones. It doesn't matter whether you've got an Apple phone or an Android phone, you can get Google Maps on that. If you don't have Google Maps on your phone, go to your App Store or your Play Store and download it. And Google Maps uses actually it's the United States Department of Defense satellites. So all these satellites that pinpoint where you are. And so the phone can access those satellites and identify where it is. That's on the phone, it's called location services. Sometimes when you install an app, it says do you want to enable location services? What you're doing is saying, yes, I want the phone to talk to those satellites and get my position. And you may not have that turned on. If you haven't got that turned on, the maps won't work. So some people don't like location services. It is a privacy thing, I suppose. If the phone knows where you are, then I suppose someone who can read where your phone can identify where you are. I'm not that bothered about that. I don't go anywhere very exciting, so I'm not so bothered. But if you are worried about privacy and you think you don't want people to track where you are, some people keep that turned off. When you're using these maps, you can search by address. You can put in someone's address, number 17 Acacia Avenue. You can put in their postcode, N20LZ, it will take you to 5 Bells, where the club is. Or you can put in a business name. I want to go to Kouros Restaurant in Mayfair. It will take you to tell you where that is. So you can search all different ways. So first of all, can everyone go into their phone and, if you haven't got Google Maps, we'll install Google Maps now, or open the Google app page. So if you've got Google Maps open, you'll have a view somewhat like that, where you'll be able to see where we are, and what you'll see on this map. Now, you can find it in a minute. So we're here at the East Finchley Constitutional Club, so it knows roughly where you are. And you can zoom in and zoom out. If you keep zooming out, eventually you see you're in London, eventually you see you're in the UK, you can see the whole globe. So Google Maps is available all over the world. So you can just sort of zoom in and out of this area. You can zoom out and there's London. All those little dots are places I've been to in the past. So see what I mean? There is some knowledge of where you've been. Once you've turned Google Maps on, it knows the places you've been, and so that remains on there forever. It doesn't work as well actually on a laptop as it does on a phone actually. Yeah, there we are. So that blue dot, which doesn't show up very blue on the screen, that blue dot is currently where I am.
Can you see the blue dot on your screen?
You can see it on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody got the blue dots?
So that's quite nice. You can use the maps to see where you are. You can use the maps to just browse around. But you might want to use the maps to go somewhere. So you can put in a destination. So you've got a search box at the top of your screen where you can type in a location. And like I said, you can type in the name of a place. I typed in this morning, East Finchley Constitutional Club, just to check where I was going. I knew where it was, but no. So let's put in a name of a place. I'm going to use Selfridges, just because I used that example earlier. So let's put in Selfridges. And Selfridges in Oxford Street. And it knows where Selfridges is, so it's found Selfridges, and it's got a little picture of the front door. Yeah, it looks slightly different depending on an Apple phone or an Android. But you can see it shows you something about the store, and it's showing you the area that it's in. So you now have a map of Selfridges, because that's what you've chosen. Right, is everyone now got a map showing Selfridges on there?
Just one second.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Okay, we're moving along. This app, once you understand the functionality of this app, it will make all the other apps seem so much quicker and easier. Okay?
Yeah.
But what we're trying to take you through all together with your different devices is to understand that sometimes there's options that you've got to do. So here, their directional
Location services had to be on.
wasn't on, so they were stuck at a certain point. And what everybody wants is that arrow, which is white, which lets you then press it, and then your world moves on. Okay. So sometimes the phone will just have a little thing that you need to go back and open to allow it to go forward. So once it's on, it's on permanently. You don't need to change it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Jimmy. And so the next thing we're going to look at, once you've asked for directions to a place, there's different ways of getting there. So oftentimes you'll find it will tell you how to get there by car. So you'll see these little symbols on my screen here. There's a car, there's a train, you can walk, you can take a bike. But generally, if you're going into town, you're not going to drive, you're going to go by train. So you can set the little train symbol above directions. And now it will give you directions by train. So that is probably the most useful thing when you're going into town. If you're driving somewhere, obviously you want driving instructions. But certainly for this example, for Selfridges. And then you can see it's telling you to take the Northern Line. And if you click on that, so it knows we're in East Finchley, so it says take the Northern Line, walk to East Finchley Station, take a train to Tottenham Court Road, change to Central Line, and actually here it's telling you to take a bus, actually number 98, and get off outside Selfridges. But there'll be other routes. There's more than one route. There'll be one that might take me via the.
Go back to the top for a second. So this is your information, and you have different options depending on the time that you want to go, and it's giving you a quick oversight of which is quicker. So if you got to East Finchley Station by walking, it will say take the 1028. It'll be faster if you make a particular change. Can you see the differences between the two options?
So if you look here, so it gives you different ways of getting there, and it puts them in the order which is the fastest. So this takes 49 minutes, and this is going to take 55 minutes, and so on. So there are differences. But the interesting thing is, it's assuming you're leaving now. So it's saying, well, if you walk now to the station, you can catch this train that's leaving at 10:35. But you can change that to leave tomorrow. If you want to plan a trip tomorrow, you might want to say, well, actually, you want to leave at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Or you've got to be at somewhere at a particular time. Well, I want to arrive at 12 p.m. tomorrow. So it will tell you which train to take to get there at that time and that day. So you can use, it also knows the timetables of the buses and trains. So you can use it to choose how you're going to get there. But in general, the main thing you want to do is find somewhere you want to go to, choose directions, and then choose the way you want to travel. You're going to take the car, the train, walk, whatever. Obviously, for short distance, if you're going to Budgeons from here in East Finchley, you're most likely to walk. It will tell you the quickest route to walk from here. So it will give you different directions depending on where you're going.
So can you open up the first one?
Mm-hmm.
And just take a quick minute. Can you see what information it's giving you? It's very
Yeah,
small.
sure.
Is it very
So from the beginning, it's saying from where we are right now, where we are, it says walk to East Finchley Station. It tells you that's about a 13-minute walk. We're about
So
half
those
a mile
are
away.
the blue dots.
Yeah, so that's the walking. Then the black line is the Northern Line. It's saying get on a 10:41 train. It's saying take a train across the train. And actually it's telling you how many stops there are. 10 stops, and if you want to know where it's going to go, it will give you all the stops along the way. So, Highgate, all the way to Tottenham Court Road. And then Tottenham Court Road, it says actually exit the station and walk 3 minutes to this bus stop. This is, stop OM, there you are, 98.
It's good for us to go through.
And get off at stop BX for Selfridges, and you're right opposite Selfridges. So it's giving you one way of going. Now, be aware, there are lots of ways of getting to Selfridges, and you probably know much better ways than Google Maps knows, right? Oftentimes, if I'm driving somewhere I know, just out of fun, I put in like a friend's address. It'll tell me how long it would take, because it knows the traffic on the way. So if there's a traffic jam or something. But I don't always follow it, because it doesn't know the best way to get somewhere. It just knows one way to get somewhere, or maybe it knows 2 or 3 ways. It's not always the best way.
Well, let's get everybody to go to Selfridges and follow the route. Salim is paying when you get there, so it's fine.
On your phone, if you say start, so once you've got the route, and you can press the start button, so you found a route, and there's a start button, a green start button. When you press the start button,
Well, then help.
it'll actually tell you how to walk to the station. Okay, so we now have on the screen Tony's iPhone. So this looks exactly like your phone, right? So you can all see where we're going, different ways of getting there. So if you pick a particular route and press the start button, it will now show you how to get there. And what you'll notice is that little arrow at the top there is changing as I move around. Can you see it rotating at the top there?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see a little blue arrow in the middle of the screen?
Yeah.
Because it wants me to walk towards East Finchley Station. And from where we are right now, East Finchley Station is sort of that way. So you've got to sort of, if you're heading off, you've got to walk in the right direction, that way, right? It wants me to go that way. Now be aware, it takes a while sometimes for the phone to figure out where you are, because it's using a compass to work out which way you're pointing. Now when you're in a room, it can't access the satellite, so it doesn't know exactly which way you're pointing. It knows which way to go. The map is correct, because the map is built into the thing. But it doesn't know where you are pointing. It knows where you are, but not which way you're pointing. So you sometimes head off thinking you're following the blue line to the station. You might be walking completely in the wrong direction. So just keep an eye on it. As you walk around, it'll figure out where you are. When you're outdoors, you can't really do it indoors so easily. If you're outdoors and you don't know where you are, if you put your finger on the blue button, it can turn the camera on and take a picture of where you are. And then it knows, especially if you're in a city, where it can find a landmark. So if it sees a picture of a shop or a street name, or a building, just a picture of a tree, won't identify that. Because it's something it can identify, it can work out which way you're walking. And I use that quite a lot because I'm always heading off in the wrong direction. It takes me a while to turn around and go back again. So yeah, so just be aware of that. On here you can see the arrow turns around. On an Android phone, your little blue spot has got a little fan pointing out the direction you're walking.
It does on an iPhone as well.
Does it like that? Oh, does it? Okay.
I think that's because we've started the route, maybe.
Is that because we've started the route? Okay, maybe it is. Okay. There is an option on the screen that Bridget's just reminded me about. That at the bottom of the screen, when you put in location, so when we put in Selfridges, right at the beginning, before we got our directions, there's this option here to get a live view. And if we press live view, you can point your camera at buildings and shops and signs around you so the phone can figure out where it is. Now there's nothing in here, it doesn't know any of these areas, it's not going to identify where we are by looking at us. But that's how the phone can work out where you are. It's that live view option right at the beginning. So just go back to that. So it won't work indoors, it has to be outdoors. So when you're outdoors and you press this live view button, the camera button, you can use that button to locate where you are more accurately.
Is that once you press start?
It's when you know, it's before all of that. It's just when you put the location, you just put in where you want to go, Selfridges, and there's a live view button. So you go back out to all of that, does all of that. And you put in the
It's only when you walk, you go live.
yes, it's only when you're walking. Yes, if you're in train, yes, that's correct. It's only when you're walking.
It's only when you're walking.
Yes, correct.
The option live on the
Yes, because then you can use the camera. Yeah, just a reminder. So when you're using live view, it only is available when you're walking. Because when you're driving, you're not allowed to use your phone to look around, right? But you're on a train. So it's only when you're walking does it give you the opportunity to take pictures of where you are, to kind of figure out where you are. Because if you're driving, it sort of knows the direction you're going. You're on the road and it knows you're following the roads. But when you're walking around, so you don't get lost, you can take a picture of your surroundings and it will kind of help you find where you are. Okay, everyone. I think we've spent quite a bit of time on Google Maps. And it's, the reason these are big. It's quite a complicated app. It's the app that has all of the features you're ever going to find in any navigation app. So what we're going to look at after the coffee break is some of the other apps that allow you to use buses or trains or use Uber and so on. And they all, in many ways, are simpler because they only do one thing. But the bus times only shows you buses. It doesn't give you the option of walking or taking trains. So I wanted to show you this first. So one, you have the app on your phone. You have location services turned on. You all have that now. And you sort of have all tried, I know some of you are very familiar with this app, but tried finding your way to somewhere. So we're going to take a coffee break now and come back and we'll look at some of the other apps that we have. Sort of framework of using any navigation app. Most of the others are simpler. So we'll look at some of the other ones that are out there. And I'm not going to go through those all in detail. Some of you may have your own favourite apps for buses and so on. But the thing about Google Maps, it uses, it knows where you are, you can put in a location, and it'll tell you how to get from where you are to where you want to go. It has the whole atlas of the world. So you could actually say, get me from here to New York. It's a crazy thing to do, but it knows where New York is. There are other apps that are more relevant to travelling in your area. The one that I like is CityMapper. Anyone here use CityMapper at all? Yep.
I have it on my phone.
You have it on your phone? So,
I don't have good luck with it.
oh, okay. All right, fair enough. So CityMapper, as the name implies, it's only good for travel within a city. So it won't get you from London to Birmingham. It doesn't know anything about anything outside of London. It covers a number of cities, actually. So you can say, if you go to New York and say, I'm in New York, it will tell you how to get around in New York. Gillian used it when she was in New York quite a lot.
I used it initially.
Yeah. Yeah, it covers a lot of cities around the world. So if you're on holiday somewhere and you find yourself in the city, you might find CityMapper allows you to use their tube network or the metro network. It has all the maps of the metros and so on. You can say, I want to go by bus, or I want to go by train, and it gives you quite a lot of control. But in the same way as Google, you put in where you want to go, and it knows where you are, and it will plot a route. So that's quite useful. So I'm not going to cover it in detail. If anyone wants to use CityMapper, probably the best thing to do is come along on a Tuesday. You can install it on your phone, and you show you how to use it from there. But quite a nice app. TfL Go is good for us Londoners. Who's got a bus pass or an Oyster card or whatever? Yeah, we all have. It's one of the best. It's my favourite thing. I use that a lot. And it's a really nice app, TfL Go. So if you haven't got TfL Go, I'd recommend installing it on your phone. So it covers all of transport for London. So it's the tube lines, the overground lines, as well as the buses. And it shows you the best routes. So again, you can now you've got to be careful when using this. So if you put in an address, say you say take me to Oxford Circus, you need to say I want to go to Oxford Circus Station, because there's a difference between Oxford Circus. Oxford Circus is just an area. Oxford Circus Station. So if you want to take a route by one of these maps, be aware you need to put in a station name. So yeah.
I got a bus down, but I don't know if that would work.
Have you got TfL Go or you?
No, she has the buses on our phone.
You got the bus. You got bus times, have you?
Yeah, bus times, but she hasn't got the TfL.
Right. So bus times is somewhat similar.
Sally,
Yeah.
do they all have adverts? See, I find
Yeah.
especially on the bus stop, I don't want to see who I am. because
That's
this
what
advert
drives
is-
me crazy about bus times, and that's why I stopped using and started using this. As far as I'm aware, this one doesn't have adverts. Please have a look.
I don't think CityMapper does adverts, does it?
CityMapper has some adverts. You can pay not to have. I don't pay for any of these things.
When would you use CityMapper and when TfL
So they
Go?
look for search.
Well, so TfL Go is only for use in London, whereas CityMapper works in other cities. If you're another city in the UK or another city abroad, and that's really the main difference, really. And TfL Go is really only for public transport in London.
Is it an actual app, or do you have to go on
It's
the
an app. It's an app. It is an actual app. So we can actually show you the app. We can probably use. Have you got it on your phone, Tony?
I have not, but I have it on my phone.
We can bring your phone and then we can use your phone. I quite like TfL Go because it's a.
Maybe it's the same password, I don't know.
Who uses bus times? Anyone here use bus times?
I always do.
There's a few people. You do you? Yeah. I used to use it, and as Barbara says, I just got so annoyed with the adverts. The adverts take over the whole screen. They seem to last a long time, and I've got a very low threshold for advertising, so
So
very, very
apart
useful.
from the advertising, TfL Go and bus times are similar.
So bus time is only bus, no tube information. TfL goes includes you have a button for buses and a button for trains, so you can choose how to travel.
So
So I'm just going to show you TfL Go. If you haven't got it on your phone, you can either do that after the session, or you can come along on Tuesday and look at it. So when you open the TfL Go app, what you get first of all is the tube map. Okay, so TfL Go.
and see if you want to get free access, which is good.
So you'll notice it's just got two buttons at the bottom: directions, where to, and buses. So if we choose directions, and we'll go somewhere different this time, and we'll say we want to go to Warren Street. That's an easy one, isn't it? Warren Street, and there's Warren Street Station, and let's go now. Again, it knows where we are. It knows we want to go to Warren Street. It's figuring out how to go there, and it's telling us we can take that route. And the first route it's given us is actually telling us not to walk to East Finchley Station, but to walk to the high road, take bus 263 to East Finchley Station. So instead of walking for 13 minutes, take a 4-minute bus ride. Go to Euston and then go to Warren Street. Because the next train that's coming is a bank train, not a Charing Cross train. So it knows that you have to change at Euston to go to Warren Street. Now, you might decide to wait for a Charing Cross train and not change. So it knows how to get you from here to Warren Street, right? That's easy. But it also has, let's go back, this buses near you. So if I click on buses near me, it's now looking around. Again, it knows where I am, so there's the little blue dot with the little fan in front of it. And it knows these are the buses that are available here. So these are the bus stops, and these are the different buses. So you can pick a route, you can pick a bus stop. You can see the bus stops in red over there. There's one by British Gas and one by Tesco's, I guess. So you can pick a bus stop or you can pick a route. So if I pick the 263, and it's taking me towards Highgate, it's telling me there's one bus coming in 7 minutes, the next bus is coming in 13 minutes, the bus stop is 3 minutes away, and so you can find the bus. So I pick a bus, it shows me where it's going to go, it shows me the route of that bus. And if I want to go in the other direction, so this is, by the way, it's got that live up there, so it's actually getting the live bus times from TfL. So these are the actual times the buses are going to
I'll
go.
show you the line there,
Salim, can you set favourites on it?
What favourite locations you
Yes,
mean?
because often, like, if you come, you're coming
Maybe. I've
into East
never
Finchley,
tried that actually.
you want to, you don't have to keep.
Yeah. So when you look, when you search for places, if you turn on search history, then it will store your places. So if you go to a place regularly, you can leave that in there, and it will be in your search history, and then you can just tap on it. So if you regularly go to the same place, if you're a U3A member, you go there every Thursday morning, you can just find that quickly. So yeah, it does have some advertising because it's got these things in there, which these are events going on in London right now, and it gives you directions to there. So that's the button there for buses basically. So that's a good alternative, I think, to bus times. So yeah, I quite like that. As I say, I haven't found adverts on here. That's the only real advantage over this compared to bus times. But yeah, try it, see how you get. If you're already using bus times and you're happy with it, stay with it. There's not really very much difference. Bus times gets the same information from Transport for London for the bus arrival time. But this also has tubes on there, so you're not just restricted to buses. If you put in directions to somewhere, you can change it. Now, just one other thing I wanted to point out actually is that I've been putting in a location. You know, we put in Selfridges, we can put in Harrods this time just for making it different. We decided we've come into some money, we're going to go somewhere posher, so we can go to Harrods now. But we don't have to have a current location. We can say that we're somewhere else. We could start from Selfridges. We've already got to Selfridges, done our shopping. So at Selfridges, and we want to go to Harrods. So you're not restricted to starting from where you are. You can put in a different start place. So it's a 31-minute walk if you fancy a walk. Or you can take this bus. And there's the bus route from Selfridges, so which bus stop to get on at, which bus stop to get off at, and then walk 6 minutes to Harrods. So yeah, quite a nice app, quite easy to use, free, It's got bus and train information in here. So I quite like that. I use that quite a bit actually. So quite nice for travelling by bus and train in London. Okay, so that was TfL Go. So quite a nice app. Bus times, I know a few people will use bus times, so I'm not going to go through this one. Bus times does exactly what it says on the tin. It just gives you bus information. Quite nice, quite nice. This is the only thing I don't like about it is the advertising. Very similar, you can search by postcode address. If you put in a location which is a station, make sure you find the station. Don't just pick the... No, if you type in the station name, it doesn't always find the station. Uber. Now, I know a few people use Uber. I know there's someone in our group who's given up driving and decided that taking Ubers is... Diana's done that, yeah. And actually, I think I'm probably in the same category. I hardly use my car. So yeah, probably an Uber would be cheaper than running a car. But yeah. I say it can be cheaper. It's not always cheaper than a taxi or a minicab. Their pricing varies, so they're a funny sort of company. Worth using if you frequently need to use a taxi. If you're the sort of person who often finds yourself needing a taxi, then think about installing the Uber app. If you don't, then don't bother with it. You can only pay with the payment card that you have on your phone. You have to pay online, so be aware of that.
But it is convenient just being able to get out of the cab, shut the door and go off, and
really
you know
is.
your fare's been paid.
It really is. Yeah.
And you know the registration date.
Yeah, it's quite safe. There are ways you can have, you can notify a friend that you're travelling and they can see where you've got on and where you've got off, so you can have someone in the family know where you're going to and so on. There's lots of little things built into Uber which are quite nice.
It's also very quick. You can get a cab in 3 minutes.
Yeah, you can get a car.
In London.
Yeah, not always, not always. It really is. Yeah, it doesn't always. Yeah, I've had instances where I've been waiting and drivers sort of, if you want to do it just like any taxi company, the drivers are interested in taking the journeys that are profitable. And if you just want to go around the corner in the rain, they might decide not to turn up, you know. But yeah, it can be useful. There are a couple of others, also Bolt, yeah, and Lyft. There's a couple of other companies that do something very similar. Again, Uber works well in cities. I've not tried it outside of London. Anyone else tried it anywhere in the UK?
Yes.
I've tried it all over the world.
Yeah, but not outside of London in the UK.
It often is, it doesn't like you deep in Surrey, you just...
Yeah, exactly. If you're out in the sticks, you might find that you have to call a minicab. But yeah, it can be a useful option, so just be aware of it. Again, you can use a credit card as long as that card is linked to your payment on your phone or you enter the card details on the app. But you can only pay through the app. So yeah, just be aware of that. The payment is done through the app. Just like online shopping. You either have a card stored with them or you enter the details as and when you call them. I've used them in Ghana of all places, and there the drivers take cash. So that was the odd one out. But it was actually a really good service, really, really good. The drivers were lovely. So,
When I looked up Uber, it came up Uber, then underneath Uber driver app.
oh, right, yes, yeah. Oh, that's a good point, actually. So when you're installing any app, just in general, so I'm just going to talk about installing apps. So when you install apps, always install them from the App Store. On an Apple, that's the App Store. On an Android phone, it's called the Play Store. If you try and find an app on the web, on your browser, you're not always getting the real app, so be careful about that. And some of those apps look like the real thing, but they might have bugs or viruses and so on in them. And then when you find the real app as well, there may be several apps with the same name. So Uber, there are two apps. There's one for us to call an Uber car. There's another app called Uber for Driver, which is for the Uber drivers to get their money. And that's not what you want unless you want to drive around. So yeah, so make sure you get the right one. So and you'll find that oftentimes with apps that there's 2 or 3 different versions. One that you need to be careful to get the right one.
Yeah, but why did you put Face ID?
They're giving you another option at the top of the list, as well as what you've asked for.
Yes.
And I know a couple of people have installed the
Yeah.
The other alternative, by accident, thinking
Yeah.
that was the one they were after. So just be a bit vigilant.
Yeah, it's usually the second one. It's
Yeah.
not the first.
Yeah.
It's not the one you asked for generally comes second.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
So
Companies
just make sure
pay
that
to
you've got
advertise to get theirs
Now you
promoted
get
on Android phones, which is a bit annoying. Yeah, good
Yeah.
point, Steve. Just the last one I'm going to cover today, really. What 3 words? And what 3 words is an odd app in some ways. It's not an app you use to get about, really. It's an app to help others find you, mostly. That's what it's about. It's quite nice actually. I've used it. I think I told this story last year when we did this in a workshop. It was actually invented by a British chap who I can't remember what the I've forgotten now what the inspiration for it was. But anyway, he wanted a way of being able to identify where you are on the planet. And if you use Google Maps or any of those other things, it'll give you a street address or a postcode, and that gives you a rough idea of where you are. And if you look at the blue dot on Google Maps, it knew we were at the East Finchley Constitutional Club. But if someone's trying to deliver a parcel to your door, or an emergency services want to get to someone, or if you're not in a city, out in a park somewhere, they haven't got a way of identifying you. So he came up with this idea of drawing a grid over the whole atlas of the world, tiny grid. So actually the squares are 3 meters by 3 meters, about the size of a room, basically, a small room, and giving each room a coordinate. Now, if you've ever remember your geography O-levels, we used to have coordinates to remember where we are, a long string of numbers. The thing about giving people coordinates is one that most people don't know where they are, and even if your phone tells you where you are, trying to explain coordinates over the phone is almost impossible, right? Because it's a long string of numbers. If you ever try to explain numbers on the telephone line, it's impossible. The nice thing about this, it doesn't use numbers, it uses words, hence the name, What 3 Words. It uses 3 words, just 3 random words. And I'll open the app on my phone, I'll tell you where we are right now. It's good. Quite a nice little app. But because it uses words, you can share your information with people, your location with people, very easily. So just opening the app, and now, we're going to get it. So where we are right now, according to this app, is a place called Token Path Zest. So 3 English words, Token Path Zest. It's quite easy to share words over a telephone line or by text. And you can share that information, and once someone has that location, those 3 words, they can find where you are. So this knows not that I'm in the club, but where I am inside this building.
Okay.
So it's very, very accurate. It's accurate to a small space. So, and it works out in the wild. So if you're in a park and you want to know where you are, it's not good for finding your way somewhere, it's a way of finding your location.
Yes, some of the delivery services, like Deliveroo, use it.
We'll
so
use
you
it
can
now.
have your pizza delivered in the middle of the park.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really neat, yeah. So, yeah, the emergency services and delivery services, and some cars now have it built into their sat-nav. I think Jaguar or one of the other car manufacturers now has it built into their sat-nav, so you can put in what 3 words as a location. I used it actually, I'll tell you the story why I quite like it. I was in the States, I was in Vegas as it happens, and I was in a hotel with a bunch of my colleagues, there were about 20 of us, and I was trying to round them up. And if you've ever, anyone who's been to Vegas, the hotel lobbies are huge, they're about a mile wide, a mile deep, and trying to decide them in the lobby is pointless, right? So I gave them my what 3 words location. I happened to be at the pub, and they were able to find me, and we all managed to get together and have drinks together. So it was quite useful. Yeah.
The person or people receiving the information from you,
Yeah.
they don't need to have the app on.
They do. They need that app. Yeah. So what 3 words? So most delivery drivers all have that app. All of the emergency services have it now, built into their emergency system. So all the blue lights cars have what 3 words. So if you need to be located, they can use that. It's not the only way they can locate you, but it is one of the options they have now. So that's the final slide really when it comes to navigation apps. I probably should at this point, probably a good time for questions. Any kind of general questions from what we've covered today? Was that useful? Did anyone sort of learn anything new?
I didn't know what 1 3.
Well, we learned quite a useful things from you, Bridget, so thanks for the input from you.
Can I just ask you?
Yeah.
I've got what 3 words. Someone told me to
Right.
load it. I did.
Yeah.
But I've actually got a different 3 words.
You will have, because you're in a different square to me.
From him.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I've got locate and yes.
So yeah, so what 3 words? So it just shows how accurate that is. So my location is different to yours because so your phone might be connecting to a different satellite. That's probably why. When you're indoors, the location accuracy isn't perfect. When you're, it's close enough to find you, but it will be slightly different between people. When you're outdoors, you get you can see the sky. The phone can see the sky and get a better location accuracy from the satellite. That's the main difference.
I just want to say that the best way to learn how to use any of these apps is just to keep trying. Just try different things. You can't break your phones. You can't break it. Just try and use and do. You know, press the buttons, see what they do, and just don't be afraid of your phones. Just keep trying.
That's really good advice, actually. Tony's last point. Did everyone hear that? If you want to try these apps out, just use them. You know, just open up the app and try it. You won't break anything. Yeah, thanks very much, everyone.